Hello everyone, my name is Griff, and today we have a announcement of a Gala Dragalia remix. Now this wasn't surprising at all, judging how it's the middle of the Elementary Escapades event, and the banner that is currently up, which is this Dragon Special, ends tomorrow, which means we would usually get a preview of the next banner. And it does happen to be a Gala Dragalia remix, and it also doesn't happen to include Humanoid Mercury and Child Ranzal, as well as Gala Laxi. Now, I don't know if small Cerise, little Cerise is on this banner. It doesn't say that they are in the newly added adventures, because it usually would say in the 4-star section, so it appears that she is just a story-only alt. A little unfortunate, but all in all, I'm just looking at what's on this banner. You know, it has one of my most wanted units, it has a unit all I really want, and it has a Gala adventure I already have. So, if you're looking for just a should you summon, without even looking at their kits yet, and I'll give you a second one later, both of these adventures aren't limited. As it says right here, the newly added Humanoid Mercury and Child Ranzal will also appear in the next summon showcase. So, if you're looking for purely limited, and you're looking for purely things that could boost your meta, I don't think you should summon here. However, Child Ranzal happens to be a Flame Axe, and in actuality, Flame Axes are useful in the Trials of the Mighty, which will be going live, the Trials of the Mighty going live next week. Today's Poseidon, and you get Gala Laxi Devotions, but the other one will be Void Zephyr, or Trials of the Mighty Zephyr, in which you can use Flame Axes. So this could potentially be useful for that if you need a Flame Axe. I actually don't have any 5-star Flame Axes at all, so I could potentially be using him if I get him. But that's more preliminary stuff. Let's actually look at the kits themselves and see what we can find out about these two adventures. So to start, we have Humanoid Mercury, who is a water dagger. Super cool design, super cool art. I like Mercury in the background here. She looks pretty cool, and then you have basically the same Mercury that we have in the story as is. So, the Waterworm Mercury, taken human form to learn more from human culture. Though her looks have changed, her mission as a guardian dragon has not. She will show no quarter to those who threaten the peace of those she cares about. She is an attack unit. A lot of people were hoping that Mercury would be a healer because kind of her motherly nature and her protective nature. So hopefully we see something like that in her kit, but I don't know. Let's see. Her first skill is Raging Ocean. Deals damage to enemies directly ahead, inflicts frostbite, and raises the dragon gauge if the attack connects. If the user has a team strength amp, a more powerful version of the skill will be used. Okay, that's pretty interesting because Gala Laxi, who's getting her mana spiral, will actually give a strength amp. So there is already synergy between those two characters where she will get a stronger version of her skill. Now, looking at these numbers, it's about 60 more damage per hit on, oh no, actually, if she has the strength amp, she does another entire hit, as well as doing 60 more for the first 3 hits. So, pretty good damage for SP ratio there. Just under, and very actually pretty close to 1-for-1 on the normal skill. It's about a couple 400 under, but pretty good all in all from what I can see right here just on this first skill alone. And it doesn't look like Frostbite, so Frostbite Punisher will be available, and this is also shareable. So this could potentially be used in applications outside of just her, because team strength amps are available are going to become available in basically every meta. From what we can see, they are the new generation 2 buffs. So if you put this on a person who really needs a strength amp, or on a teammate who already has a strength amp in their kit, then those kinds of buffs are just going to be even more helpful. Because of that, you know, you can really share this anywhere and have dragon ramping anywhere in the game. So it seems to be a decent skill from just that perspective alone. And I'm assuming Mercury herself will have some sort of dragon transformation where it's special and she wants to be in dragon form, just like Mim. So maybe down the line in her skills we'll see something like that. So let's see what her next skill is. Her next skill is Aquatic Ruin. Deals damage to enemies directly ahead and grants the user a strength amp. If the user has already shapeshifted at least once, a more powerful version of this skill will be used. Okay, so pretty similar actually, I think exactly the way Mims works, where if she has shapeshifted in the past, it makes her skill 2 stronger. So maybe she'll have a buff similar to, you know, to Mim, where after Mim turns into Hybrid we'll see some sort of buff. Maybe Mercury will turn into Hybrid Mercury. As far as the damage, it's a little low from what I can tell for the amount of SP. It's 8k SP. It's a lot, but it does give a strength amp. So we'll have to see how powerful this is. And again, she's getting a strength amp, which is going to increase her skill 1, and shapeshifting is going to increase her skill 2. So she does have already in-kit synergy. Her critical rate increases by 10%. That's pretty basic. Chain co-ability, team strength amp equals burn resist plus 100. The team member is attuned to water, reduces their susceptibility by burning when they have a team strength amp. Benefits the whole team. That is huge. Okay, so if she gets in her kit, if she has this strength amp up, which I don't know, how long does the strength amp last? I don't know if strength amps go. I've never used any adventures that have a strength amp. I don't know if strength amps goes away, or if they come back, or if they just last. It doesn't say a time effect here, but she basically can slot in burn res on any water unit if they have a strength amp. So if you put Gala Laxi on the team, who is giving a strength amp to the entire team, and then you put Mercury on the team, you've just given burn res 100 to every member of the team while they have that strength amp, in addition to raising their strength. It's pretty crazy. It means that she in herself will have 100% burn res, which I'm wondering if below she'll have stun res then? Yes, she does. So she has stun res. So, and she also has Waterworm's Nature 2, which reduces bog, very similar to how Mim reduces burn. So this unit has 3 affliction reses if used properly. Pretty crazy. Pretty powerful from what I can tell. And especially this unit looks more like a very good targeted backline with Gala Laxi. So if you already have Gala Laxi and you're thinking of promoting her or using the Mana Spirals, which I'm obviously going to do, and I'm going to make a video about her Spiral and the Trials of the Mighty Quest soon, so look forward to that. But pretty crazy. This is a really cool chain co-ability. I like what they're doing here, and they're making really unique chain co-abilities that allow people to have certain synergies. You know, you could put this on a backline unit who would have a team strength amp, and then do things like Hybrid Hilda and just slot her in, and have that unit have 100% burn res. It's ways to increase the burn res in a fight. And I think this will be really important in Lilith, because I'm pretty sure Lilith burns. And if Gala Laxi is in Lilith and giving strength amps, and she's also in Lilith giving strength amps, then she's going to inherently have the burn res. Pretty cool. Waterworm's Nature 2 reduces susceptibility to bog by 100%. That's 14 to the modifier applied to damage when in the dragon form. When shapeshifted for the first time, the user will transform into Mercury regardless of what dragon they have equipped. The second time on, they will transform into High Mercury instead. So it works just like Mim does. Pretty unique, pretty cool. It's cool to see this on a unit in the permanent pool and not just on a Gala version. Now you kind of have a welfare version with Humanoid Midgardstormer, you have a Gala version with Mim, and you have a normal non-limited version with Humanoid Mercury. I think, is it Humanoid? Yeah, it's Humanoid Mercury, not just Mercury. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. It's interesting that Mim is Mim, but you know, that's basically Humanoid Mercury. As I said before, she has stun res 100%. And then Bubble Shield 2 grants the user a Spirit Protection effect when they have a team strength amp. Spirit Protection gradually recovers the user's HP and grants a 1-use shield that nullifies damage up to 30% of the user's maximum HP. This shield can stack with ordinary shields, so the protection will not stack. Its effects are lost upon taking damage, or if the user no longer has a team strength amp, or after the Spirit Protection has been lost, the spell will not be able to activate again for 10 seconds. So, if you use her skill 2, you get 100% burn res, you get a shield that increases your regen and nullifies 1 hit, and you get the strength amp itself. Pretty powerful. And again, a buffer who's giving out strength amps will really synergy well with her, and from what I can tell, Gala Laxi does synergize really well with this because she is giving out strength amps on her second ability now. So this is pretty big. I think she has a lot of potential to be a very good backline unit. Even if she was bad, even if she was not a good unit, I was going to summon for her regardless. She's a dagger, and she's one of my most wanted units again, so I will be summoning for her regardless. But it's good to see a unit you like really having some cool kit synergy and having some ability to perform in meta. She looks like she'll be really good for Lilith just due to her potential as a kind of like, she's kind of like this bruiser healer and DPS powerhouse with her dragon form. So, you know, it's pretty cool to see that kind of unit again, especially in the water element. I think the only one that really like that is Tiki at the moment. Maybe Gala Laxi kinda, but really Gala Laxi's a buffer more so than that. So it's cool to see this type of unit again in the game, especially under the prevy of a dragon transformer unit. So maybe you'll see a Lilith clear where I use Tiki and Mercury in a sort of dragon meta, but we'll have to see. Next we have Child Ranzal. The great mercenary Ranzal blasted back to his childhood by a magical experiment. His body may be small, but his fighting skill and his sense of justice, and most importantly, his appetite, are very much still large and in charge. Pretty cool, pretty cute. He is an axe unit, and in battle he does wield his axe, but during his skill, I believe it's this one right here, he does use his bat as a weapon, so pretty cool. His first skill is called Swing for the Fences. Deals damage to enemies directly ahead and inflicts Scorch Rend. Pretty basic skill, and Scorch Rend damage is alright. It's actually really low for the modifier, but maybe he'll be able to get up SP faster with whatever he's doing. Then he has Grand Slam. Grants the user a strength amp and immediately readies the Swing for the Fences skill for use. The next time Swing for the Fences skill use, it will deal critical damage. The critical hit will reset the user's inspiration level if the user is inspired. Huh. Okay, so maybe he has some sort of way to get inspired within his kit, but he seems to just have a buff and a pretty decent skill 1, so he kind of just wants to use those two in combination, and he does have Scorch Rend Enabler because this skill is shareable. So it's potential that this skill could be one of the best skills to share outside of his meta to share Scorch Rend onto another unit. Pretty decent. He has defense ability, which is normal, and he has chain ability of flame team strength amp equals strength plus 10%, 8%, not 10, 8%. If the user increases the strength when they have a team strength amp. That pretty cool, all in all. Again, as I was saying, it kind of makes these team strength amps add more buffs just in general. So it does seem to be the synergy of the new units that they want to put out in both of them. And we have Power Hitter 2, which adds 40% modifier applied to critical damage, but prevents the user's critical rate from being increased by more than 10%. This limit does not affect critical rates due to being inspired. Also grants the user a team strength amp with a maximum strength level of 2 when the Swing for the Fences deals critical damage. After activating this ability, you will not activate again for 1 second. Okay, so so what it seems to be is that this unit is going to do a lot of critical damage, but he can't do critical damage really on attacks. What you really want to be doing critical damage on is his skill 1, Swing for the Fences, in combination with his skill 2. And it's kind of, you'll get the skill 2, you'll buff up super strong, you'll get this strength amp, you get the strength plus, you'll seemingly get this attack rate up because that's his third ability, and then you'll use your skill 1, which is guaranteed to be a crit, and do a ton of damage based off of this Power Hitter passive. Seems to be pretty cool that he's able to basically just synergize well with the skill 1, skill 2 combo. And then in doing that, he just gets more buffs and becomes stronger. Pretty cool to see on a unit like this, but he does seem kind of basic. And in Flame meta, I don't know how he'll place. Again, it's one of these units where I don't think you're really summoning him for the meta purposes. I think if you really want this unit, you want him because of who he is. If the most influential thing seems to be the shareability on the skill 1, I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but this to me seems the most prominent because it's a very consistent way to get Scorch Rend out, and especially for a low cost of 4, it should be fairly easy to slot that in onto a team. So he also has stun res, but I don't think really afflictions matter that much in the Volk meta. I mean, most of the time your healer is going to be running sleep res, so if you're doing that, then the stun res units really can just get the stun res little bubbles, so I don't think it's that big of a deal either way. And the afflictions aren't really the same as they were at the start of the game, where afflictions really were a detriment more than a help, but now they seem pretty decent. So I think all in all, he seems decent. He seems the worst of the two, if I'm being honest, but he does seem to have a very cool and synergistic kit, and I like that within units. And maybe you can build a team around him at some point, because I don't know how many team strength amps there are in Flame. This might be the first one. So if Flame gets a buffer that really boosts them up, like for example, if Halloween Lowen gets a Mana Spiral and he actually gives a Strength Amp on his skill 1 or skill 2, then that could be huge. So things like that, or Emma giving a buff that does that, those kinds of things are really what you want to see in the game to make units like this way better, because if he gets that, he'll be able to, you know, use his critical effect super often. Because as you see here, it's saying basically whenever his skill 2 gets whenever skill 1 gets a crit, he's going to get this effect. So, you know, it's kind of, he seems like a unit that will get much better with time, but right now he's not that great. But either way, I still want him because he's super cool, he's super cute, and as I said before, I don't have any Flame Axes. So the only one I have that I promoted was Vanessa, and I promoted her simply to play this event because I was like, okay, I need to add a Flame Axe on this team, and I didn't have any. So if I can get him before Mercury, that'd be super cool. I'm really after Mercury though at this point. And one thing that might pity break me instead of Mercury is Gala Laxi. Now Gala Laxi is a Flame Dagger. Her biggest competition in that pool is Azalith, sorry. And I'm just going to quickly go over a unit because she's been out for a while. She has a skill 1 that basically does damage, and then if you transform using the Uden mode, which is her second ability, it inflicts burn and does more damage. And basically her second mode is that she puts this little ball over her head, and this ball automatically attacks for her. And she basically has these 2 meters that she charges up, and when she charges them up, she releases them, and she can do more damage on her skills or 4 strikes. Now, I think the biggest thing really here is her co-ability is standard damage up plus 20%. It is different than the normal dagger, and I believe the only other way to get this is Tiki. I believe there might be on other units now, but the 2 I know of are Laxi and Tiki. It's decent on some units. It's not great on everyone, and I believe that she really fails in comparison, in my opinion, to Azalith, in the sense that, like, Azalith is really this critical damage powerhouse. Now, critical damage is affected by Curse and Nihility, and one of the big things about Azalith is her ability to get buffs, and she's really good at buff stacking. So it's a potential problem in Nihility, in a Nihility battle, that she might not even be usable. So Gala Laxi could have the edge out there. So if you want an investment for the future between Azalith and Gala Laxi, I would say Gala Laxi is probably going to be better because she's not as focused on buffs. However, if Fig gets rid of by Curse and Nihility, if Fig is removed, then it leaves the door open for really what's possible with either of those units, because both of them are really going to have a lack in comparison to the other, and they're just going to be terrible. But assuming Fig isn't removed, because I don't think it would be, it's a custom buff and it's really important to her kit, it's more of a transformation than a buff, but it does have a visible buff icon, so it could be removed. I don't think it will be though, but if it is, it's really not great. But if it isn't, then she's probably going to be the best dagger in the flame pool because of that ability to simply do damage, transform, and kind of have this like automatic building up of 4 strikes and damage. So all in all, I think she is probably the safest to invest on this list. I mean, Humanoid Mercury is pretty good, but I mean, she has a sensible future, and she has a sensible and notable distinguish between the other daggers in her pool. So all in all, if you don't have Gala Laxi, you might want to summon here. If you really want these 2 units, you might want to summon here. I don't think meta alone is enough to summon here, but I will be summoning because I wanted these units. I already made that decision before I even saw this preview. So I will be summoning probably day 1 when this banner comes out, so I expect that video tomorrow, or in the day after, depending on what goes on with the events as a whole. But all in all, I'm looking forward to this banner. Do as I say, not as I do. If you don't want to summon here, you shouldn't. I don't think there's anything you're really missing out if you don't summon here. Pretty good bait for Vampy at the end of the month, but this is one of my most wanted units, and she's a dagger. I have to go for her. So, thank you all for watching. I will see you all next time.